Mr. AEW saying WWE NXT. Oh, what the hell is this? WWE NXT. Why am I getting this ad here? Okay, here we go. WWE NXT wrestlers unhappy over pay issues. Some are hoping to get released. There's some unhappiness in NXT because of pay-related issues. Back in August, I reported that wrestlers were expecting to see a pay increase now that WWE is getting paid by the USA Network. Independent wrestler David Starr has many friends in WWE and noted on Twitter that he's heard from wrestlers that were bumped up to NXT TV and they were told that pay raises were not coming. Keep in mind that NXT is rumored to be getting around $50 million per year from USA Network. David Starr said on Twitter, I've literally spoke to NXT talent that has been bumped up to TV recently. They had a roster meeting with management where they were told TV pay raises weren't coming. Also, yes, they offered to double main roster talent salaries once AEW sprung up. Cool. That shows a few things. They've had this money to take care of them salary-wise for a while. They've been able to afford the benefits package. Casey Michael noted how lots of people in NXT have been getting empty promises and want to be released. Another issue is that they've signed so many wrestlers that they are running out of lockers for the new talent at the Performance Center. I think Bob Ruski mentioned that last week. This lines up with what was reported here on WrestlingNews.com last week. I noted that wrestlers are willing to leave and hopefully join AEW, and even if they don't get a deal that pays as much as WWE. Also noted how some wrestlers are frustrated because some promises were broken, and the feeling is that it's too easy to get lost in the shuffle as WWE continues to stockpile talent. The dilemma some wrestlers are facing is that they know that AEW is not going to sign everyone. Tony Khan will be open to signing some names, but there's already enough talent to fill a 2-hour weekly show in the 1 hour of AEW Dark. Unless there's a major name available or someone who's incredibly talented and too good to pass up, the chances are that AEW will pass on them. There you go. Interesting. Any thoughts on that, Dave?
Oh, it's probably David Starr is not a big WE fan.
Oh, he's not? I wouldn't know.
No, he goes after them a lot. He does. I mean, so he's not a big fan of that company at all. So he could be right. And the guys I'm thinking who are probably worn out are probably the ones who aren't being used on TV. I can't imagine Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, them being the ones who are unhappy, or even Shayna. I would assume it's some guys who aren't even getting on TV at all.
Right. You know,
so that's what I would think. We are barely making the TV quota, because I would assume guys, you know, like I said, like the top guys who are featured almost every week is, yeah.
Oh, he's the guy that's wanting unions and healthcare. Oh, okay.
That's a good thing too, but I've seen some stuff on Twitter where he's just going at WWE like crazy.
Bob Ruski said they thought their contract would be changed and up, but now you're still in the developmental deal. You got to think
but they're also still paying for stuff too.
You got to think at this moment you're only being signed because your name and will be just shoved into PC or house shows, says Bob Ruski.
There's not a lot of travels yet either, so they're still staying at Full Sail. Once they move out of Full Sail, I would assume when they start doing other venues, because we didn't talk about this tonight for SmackDown, but they were finally featured on a huge, and the arena was lit up so well, and they looked great out there. So now maybe we can see, so once they do start traveling, like you've mentioned, get out of the Performance Center and go on the road, maybe they will start getting more pay, because nothing's really changed other than being live.
Right. Yeah, it's a waiting process. We got to see what happens. And like Dave said, on SmackDown, they were showcased, and let's see if this brings more viewers to them on Wednesday night. And hopefully they get showcased a little bit more, maybe on Monday Night Raw. Maybe we get guys showing up on NXT. It's going to be very, very fun to see what happens before Survivor Series.
Really quick, I wanted to say something really quick. I hope NXT does not show up to Raw on Monday. I hope they just leave it alone. This is why I want to see SmackDown respond on NXT next week. You know, like show up at NXT, some SmackDown guys.
Okay.
And then to maybe possibly boost some ratings up for NXT, possibly against AEW. And then a week or two later, have them show up on Raw and it kind of attack their locker room, and then have Raw people show up on NXT.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Or they
It's
attack
gonna be
this
fun.
Monday, and then you have both brands showing up on NXT. I mean, that could work too, but I'd rather them try to get two rating shots out of it, for AEW and NXT Wars.
It's going to be very, very fun to find out what happens in the next couple. During the weekend, they do Florida circuit or travel to cities. TV has only been filmed outside Full Sail 1 to 2 times. That's crazy. They need to start traveling soon. I think once they start traveling and they don't have the same crowd every night, it will help NXT tremendously, in my opinion. I don't know how they'll draw though. I don't think they can draw 10,000 fans though. I don't think they could do that. I don't think they could do what AEW is doing, as in selling out 9 to 10,000 seat arenas.
And AEW has the star power to draw that. And yeah, right now I don't know if NXT really does. I mean, look, you have Chris Jericho out there and Cody Rhodes, who are big stars right now. I don't know. Could NXT they go small arenas? I don't know.
But would views bite the bait more than just that one time? That's a good point too, Truth and Loyalty. They might get a good date. They might get a good view next week, but doesn't mean it's going to continue on after that. It's a good point.
Yeah, but that's not what Vince cares about. If Vince can get some of his guys to show up on NXT, they're all his guys, I get it, but from Raw or SmackDown, and they possibly pop a big rating to come closer to AEW or even surpass them, Vince will love that, and Vince will be happy for that right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, this week is UK dates right, so I don't know how they'll do an invasion unless you fly in and go right out to NXT Wednesday. I know Monday they are live in America, but SmackDown will be in the UK. So yeah, maybe they don't do an invasion for NXT this week unless they keep a couple of guys off Raw and SmackDown on the UK, or maybe they fly them out later. I don't know, maybe like Babaruski said.
I think with SmackDown, they're probably not going to leave. They had the UK, so they might leave Wednesday or Thursday. So you could be right.
As noted earlier, the Friday Night SmackDown. God damn these damn pop-ups on this damn website. As noted earlier, the Friday Night SmackDown ratings on Fox bounced back this week for the show that featured NXT Invasion. Although the numbers are down from the first 2 weeks of the show, this week's show drew 2.5 million. Last week's viewership on FS1 was 888,000. Dave Meltzer noted in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that Vince McMahon was not reacting at all to last week's shockingly low number. He also noted how nobody else brought the numbers up when they were around McMahon. There is no surprise. McMahon will never sell negative news about the company and is thinking on negative news, ratings, Saudi Arabia, etc., is that WWE can always get the fans back next week. That is exactly what they did this week when they were forced to use NXT, that talent, in place of the main roster talent that was stuck in Saudi. The bigger story will be what the number looks like next week. This week's show may have benefited from the curiosity from fans wondering what the show would look like without most of the roster available. Next week's show will give a better indication of what numbers will look like on a week-to-week basis.
I think next week should almost be a pass in a way because it's going to be pre-taped. I think the week after that, you should look at it like that more than next week, because UK, there's going to be spoilers all over Twitter all day when they do that show, and they always try to avoid them, but sometimes you can't because they put something big on it, and it gets spoiled.
Vince is going to get Brock to go on NXT and bury all the upset talent.
Yeah, and plus, come on. They've been battling since they've been on Fox the playoffs and the World Series so I mean they didn't have to worry about that. And look, it could have been just for the surprise factor last night too. Who knows? And it probably was a lot of it.
Oh, I'm sure it was a lot of it.
Are we going to get all those matches we were promised next week on that show then for the UK show? Then I assume like the tag title match and.
I'm guessing so, probably. Yeah. Do you think they do SmackDown on a Friday if they're in the UK? I think they'll just tape it.